Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre, and today I want to talk about sober housing. This has been in and out of the news progressively for the past couple of years, and it's, I suppose, a reasonably controversial subject, and folks are questioning first and foremost, should this be a regulated industry? And the short answer to that is it depends. It depends upon how the sober house is funded and whether or not they're billing for a service. So let's back up a minute. Sober houses come in many different types and forms. The oldest of which is actually referred to as the Oxford model. Oxford's been around for decades now. They exist nationwide, and they are most often rented apartments, sometimes rented or even owned homes, where people agree to cohabitate, they agree to split rent and expenses, and they typically agree to be completely abstinent. And this is a self-monitoring arrangement. Typically, there are some residents in the house that have longer-term sobriety, and maybe some folks that are coming in who have less time sober. And the idea is complete zero tolerance. No drugs, no alcohol on site. You'd be removed or told to leave the premises if you did. And there's varying degrees of strictness in terms of what is tolerated, but in a lot of instances, simply relapsing may well result in you have to leave the residence now. And these are completely non-regulated. There's no funding provided by the state or federal or local government. It's just a group of people, typically all men or all women in a house, who agree to support one each other by providing a place where drugs and alcohol are not present and providing an environment where there's some level of peer support. Because folks are trying, of course, to change their lives, not only stay sober, but rebuild or make investments in their careers, in their family, in themselves, and of course, in their health. So, in the case of sober homes and private industries where folks are really just roommates, then it seems clear to me that this shouldn't be a regulated industry, because it's, for all intents and purposes, no different than any other group of people who decide to be roommates. This actually is an issue in a lot of municipalities because of zoning ordinances. In an awful lot of towns and cities across our country, there's a regulation that states more than three non-related individuals are viewed as a commercial use of a property. And so for folks who want to do this above boards, and maybe they go to their city hall and say, we're a collective group of people who are in recovery, and here's what we're trying to do, they may actually run into a lot of obstacles and a lot of red tape. Locally, for me, I get to be a supporter of a recovery house that is funded and established by a recovery community center. So this is part of our mission, is to provide sober housing because we recognize that it's a huge need. Basic life stability needs are tantamount, are absolutely vital to maintaining sobriety, especially in the first year. So the more that we help people get their basic life needs met, the more we help them find employment, and the more we help them have safe and affordable housing, we improve outcomes. We essentially help people to stay sober. So in those private industries or in those nonprofits, again, regulation doesn't seem at all necessary. The facilities are monitored by group conscience, by the individuals who live there, and it's a self-policing operation. Now, in cases like we had in Florida about a year and a half ago, we had sober homes that were not licensed or regulated in any way, but were able to bill for things like urine screens, and they abuse those privileges. In any case where local, state, or federal money is involved, regulation needs to follow, because otherwise we're creating opportunities for people to exploit folks who are vulnerable, folks who are in early recovery, and of course their families. On the high end, certainly there are private sober homes that charge exorbitant amounts of money and provide some promise of therapeutic benefit. And in the case where those are not licensed, not credentialed facilities, I actually steer folks away from those. It needs to be an affordable arrangement, and if a clinic, a sober house, or any other type of program is offering therapeutic benefits specifically, they really need to have some level of accountability systemically. They need to be able to show that what they do is effective, but that also what they do is scrutinized by local, state, and federal authorities. So that's a little bit of an overview about sober housing. I hope that this is something that you support in your community. I think it's a common sense approach that really removes obstacles that treatment and research has neglected in the past, and I think it's really a common sense approach. Again, the more that we help people get their basic life needs met, so things like food security, things like employment, and things like safe places to live that are affordable, the more we're going to see growth in recovery, and the benefits are simply obvious. So let me know what you think, what your experiences are. Locally, I live in a relatively rural area where we have 3 established Oxford homes and 5 established private recovery homes, and they're flourishing and providing really wonderful opportunities for folks to reestablish their lives. So, Jim at sobernow.com. Give me a like for the video and hit that subscribe button. Share with friends and family, and please contact me. Let me know your questions and suggestions for future topics. Thanks. Have a great day.